and no crew member left behind.
Hello, welcome to Star Trek Sodium, and we have the latest release from Paramount using the Star Trek name. It follows a team of characters as they go on a mission with their leader, who's played by that old lady that's in everything nowadays, as she faces an old face from the past. Now, as we all know, the Star Trek producers put out a clear directive that they want their movies to be dark and gritty. It possibly came directly from that Alec Kurtzman himself, that in order to give extra grittiness, it was put in all of the actors' contracts that they were to not brush their teeth from 1 month before filming started until after filming had finished. Despite thinking that this blanket order of method acting seemed a bit strange, all of the actors partook in this obligation, and we're left with a very dark and adult Star Trek product, as I'm sure you'll agree, how very dark and gritty. We all know that the famous curse of the even-numbered Star Trek movies is an absolute proven fact, and that every even-numbered Star Trek film is a cinematic masterpiece, and that the odd-numbered Star Trek films are totally rubbish. Luckily, Section 31 is the 14th Star Trek film, so not only does it stand tall with Star Trek 2 and Star Trek 6, it also stands shoulder to shoulder bravely alongside the overwhelmingly popular Star Trek Into Darkness. Prior to production, Alec Kurtzman insisted to his hiring team and the casting supervisor that they only hire people who had no knowledge about any actual Star Trek, which of course ran from 1966 to 2005. Of course, an actor or two lied about not having any Star Trek knowledge, but it was important to the creators of Section 31 that there was no knowledge of Star Trek needed, as this was to be Star Trek in name only. Also, no knowledge of Section 31 was needed as well, because that innovative idea from Star Trek Deep Space Nine was to be changed out of shape until it resembled and stood for nothing that it was intended to be.
Zeph suffers from what we call mecha dysmorphia.
And I may not know what that is, but I'm also not going to take that from you, Quaz, and personally, I'm offended. I think you should know.
During filming of Section 31, seasoned actor Will Wheaton supposedly came to the set to tell everyone that they were doing such a great job, but most of them didn't recognise him from Star Trek because they hadn't seen it before. That old lady actress that's in everything nowadays recognised him from being in that boring Stand By Me movie though, which really made Wheaton smile. After telling everyone he was proud of them for continuing the Star Trek traditions that he'd helped to create, he left with a tear in his eye, which he was too ashamed to wipe away. Obviously, the name of Star Trek Section 31 movie is Section 31, but did you even know that there were less than 31 alternative names that this TV movie went through before it was agreed? Other names in contention were Star Trek Space Attack, Star Trek Commandos, Star Trek Section of Fear, Star Trek Graham, Star Trek Fearless Hope, and Star Trek Dreams into Nightmares Terrascope. The accolades continue to roll in for this amazing movie as respected people from all around the world give their honest thoughts on this masterpiece. Take a look at these and please go ahead and watch their full reviews and subscribe to them.
I am a Trek aficionado, but I could not find anything worthy of being called Star Trek in Section 31.
The plot is tedious and simplistic, desperately trying to portray itself as this complex mystery to unravel, when really...
Now, when something stinks this bad, you're supposed to do something about it. You can't say...
I don't know if Section 31 will end up being the worst movie of 2025, but it'll do as a placeholder until the worst movie of 2025.
Not good Star Trek. I would even go as far as to say this is the worst Star Trek we've had.
Comic relief is a mess, the one-liners all fall flat, and the bickering between the characters...
It is basically been crowned the worst Star Trek film ever. People who hated Final...
Thank goodness to J.J. Abrams, Alex Kurtzman, and all of their cronies that clearly love the subject matter as they make continuous Star Trek for the whole world to enjoy. Or for the 4 remaining fans that like this crap. Thanks for watching Star Trek Sodium. Please subscribe unless you don't want to. Otherwise, don't, and hit that like button unless you don't want to. And I'll see you next time. Ta-ta! Ta-ta!